when I was 17, I kind of discovered that, the people around me didn't quite know what they were talking about. And I went into a deep mode of self-inquiry because I felt like I have to figure this out by myself.
You started realizing that people didn't know what they were talking about.
Yeah.
What did you mean by that?
Well, it seemed like really that when I was young as a child, I had a lot of respect for adults, because they're the elders, and you think, okay, they are the teachers, they are the gods, they know what the doctors and the teachers and the parents and the grandparents. So it doesn't mean I was a perfect child, but I looked up to them,
Right,
so
right.
they must be knowing something I don't know because they are older than me and they've lived longer, and I need to just take it that as for granted.
Right.
And when I was 17, I just realized that people around me were broken, and people around me were in a way parroting what they were taught by other people.
Right.
And some of that was true, and some of it was not true. And that completely blew my mind. Blew my mind. I thought like, wow, I gotta think for myself now, because it's like they actually only are talking what they've learned from other people, and most of it is sort of like just
Regurgitated.
hearsay evidence,
Right.
yeah. Mhm.
So that is something that Miguel is very big on.
Yeah. I talk to our kids about that.
We just did the other night.
We tell it like they have to have a level of respect for adults. I mean, for everybody, for all things, not
Right.
just adults, for animals, for
Yes.
nature, for everything. But yeah, we've had that conversation with them. And I wonder like at what point, because I think everybody goes through that, right? Like you go through a transition where like you start getting older and then you're like, hold on a second. I don't know if they know what they're talking about. Like that
look
doesn't
this up.
right. And then, you start figuring out it's like, there's a lot of people that don't know what they're talking about on a lot of different things. And then, once you start figuring that out, then we start sharing it with the kids, because if you take it from the beginning and like that's ingrained in you, then it's harder to get, to change that mindset later on,
Even being a parent, there's times where we were having a conversation with them and we told them, don't believe what I'm telling you. Look it up. Yeah. And as a parent, it's like, that's when you think about that, to tell a kid that, like, don't believe me, like, look it up for yourself.
Yeah.
Most parents, I don't know if that's like a conversation they would have with their kids, because they want their kids to believe and
that they
lean
have all the
on.
answers.
Yes.
Right? Yes. Yeah. It's kind of like mirroring also the fall of paradise, they pick the apple and they eat the apple, and then they fall out of paradise, and then they sort of like become aware of a different world, a world of duality, and a world of where things are more complicated, and I think everybody has that moment where all of a sudden you fall out of paradise a little bit and you start thinking differently, and all of a sudden you feel like, oh God, I'm no longer in this state where I think everything's okay. I'm actually in a world where things are not okay, and I need to figure out what I'm going to do with this fact, Yes. And maybe there are some people that never grow out of that state. They may never have this confrontation with reality, or this confrontation with themselves, or the confrontation with the mind and what is truth. Maybe some people are never asking that, but for a lot of people it happens that way, especially spiritually inclined people.